U.S. President Barack Obama decided to sign legislation to impose further sanctions on Russia. American officials say that previous penalties are contributing to Russia's recent economic troubles. These sanctions stem from Moscow's incursion into Ukraine and its continued military support of separatist rebels there. For analysis, we turn to Anthony Salvia. He is a former U.S. State Department official and Russian affairs specialist, and he's here in our New York studios. Hey, Anthony, it's good to see you. So can you just sort of paint a picture for us of how dire the economic situation in Russia is right now?
Well, the country, even before all this happened, was heading towards recession. So all of these problems have compounded the whole thing. Okay, you've got the collapse in oil prices, you've got the collapse in the value of the ruble, and, you know, it's a big problem. It's not clear what kind of solutions Putin has to this. He's being criticized now heavily, I mean, not so much in the press, but within the inner circles and sort of the financial circles in the country that are very important. They're saying he doesn't have a plan, that he's wedded to the old ways of doing things. And the old ways of doing things, as to be understood, are his own thought that Russia really needs to be integrated into the Western economy. It was, after all, Putin who took Russia into the World Trade Organization, who supports, the whole sort of financial integration of Russia into the West, and he has always opposed capital controls, which are one thing that some people are proposing as a solution to Russia's problems. So you're seeing criticism, and it's getting. It's not breaking through into a big press campaign against him or sort of that kind of thing. But he's in a tight spot.
He's in a tight spot, and I'm wondering how much he feels the pressure of that tight spot. I imagine the economy is feeling a lot of pressure, both from sanctions from the EU as well as the United States. The United States Congress just gave the president leeway to impose even stronger sanctions, and of course, oil prices are plummeting.
Right. So all that's going on, and all the pretext for the whole thing is Crimea and Ukraine. But I think really he will not change his policies in Ukraine because of any of this. Okay, and I think that from the point of view of those supporting sanctions, it's really not to do with dislodging from Crimea. It's to do with precisely to drive a wedge between the United States between Russia and Europe. And that's certainly happening.
Let's talk a little bit about Putin's standing on the world stage. His actions over these last year or two, the going in and claiming Crimea, supposedly helping the pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. Now with this faltering economy, the weakening of the ruble, is this marginalizing him in any way on the global stage?
Well, I think if this thing continues, and if you see the full effect of an economic collapse, of a ruble collapse, this will have internal consequences inside Russia, and all of this will certainly affect his prestige externally. On the other hand, he's got some cards to play, and he's been playing them in terms of reaching out to China, reaching out to India, concluding all kinds of very massive energy deals with both countries. There are things that he has in works with Iran. He's not as isolated as some people would like to see. Some people here in the West are seeking his isolation. And as for the economy, this can turn around if he can ride out the storm. The effect of a ruble collapse is basically to give a boost to domestic production. This could be the answer to his problems, because what he needs is to get Russians working and get the factories working, and that's what a ruble collapse does, because it makes imports so much more expensive.
How is this playing domestically in Russia? Is Putin being blamed for these hard times, or is he being looked at as the savior?
He still has enormous popularity, owing to the fact that that people feel he did the right thing on Crimea. Okay, and two, because there is a sense that the West, many Russians have the feeling that the West is behind Russia's current travails, and that he's the guy who can stand up to the West, and that they have to stand with him to prevent a united front vis-a-vis the West.
All right, we'll have to leave it right there for now. Anthony, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you're watching Arise America.